This is the second journal I'd like to share today. She's a Gothic Victorian journal. She's an altered purse or bag, a clutch bag as we say here in the UK. This originally was a faux crocodile leather bag, clutch bag, and it measured approximately there to there. And I wanted to make it slightly bigger to encompass a good sized journal. She really is chunky, but as we go through you'll see again, as always, you can always remove things if she's too chunky. She's still got plenty of room and give to expand because of what she's made of, really. There's a lot of give with the fabric. I'll just make sure I'm in frame. Okay. So she measures approximately 9 3/4 inches. She's quite long, 9 3/4 inches by 6, with approximately an inch spine. It's quite a narrow spine, really, just curved round the one signature. Signature is 80 pages back to front, one signature. She ties with some black ribbon, top and bottom. There's a key here that's just attached to the ribbon that I just thought looked pretty cute. So it's a silver colour. It's got a little false gem in the middle, or a gem in the middle. I've just put 2 clasps here, sewed them down. And the actual cover itself is, I don't know if you can see, I can just see the snake skin or the crocodile, whatever it is, this faux leather. I can just see the pattern underneath. I've covered it with black fabric, lace fabric. Then I've used, I think this has got 2 layers of lace, black lace trim down here at the bottom, all the way around. There's another layer of lace at the top, trim, and then I don't know if you can just see there's a layer of beaded trim on top, black beads on top. It's actually small square sequins on top of that, and then down the spine there's black rosettes. I've put black rosettes down the front as well, and then she's got a magnetic closure. Now this was actually, if I just show you, so if I just show, this was the original clutch bag here, the magnetic closure, and it should have closed here. The closure was somewhere around here. I wanted to make it bigger, so I've added a good that much approximately. I've added that onto the clutch. Closures are here, as you can see. There's several layers of lace trim, some gold trim, velvet trim down here, and some rosettes just to match the front and give a bit of stability. So it does clip on, and it would sit like that, but I wanted to take the pressure from it, so I've added those, and I think they make a nice decorative touch. I will trim the ribbons down so that they're not too long. I'll just make them long enough for you to try off, or you can remove them if you don't like them, because that still looks pretty without having, you know, to be attached. I still think that's why I did it that way. The keys actually attached to a ribbon separate here, so that if you don't want these you can tie them off and you've still got that decorative key attached to one of the hinges. Down here there's velvet ribbon again, and then I've used black, it's a satin polyester material here, and I've repositioned the magnetic clasp on here. Chiffon rosettes, top and bottom, and then inside, make sure I'm in frame, and then inside there's a red velvet, and I've just done, I don't know if you can see, I've used red thread throughout, and I'll just roll my sleeves up. I've done a nice stitch here, gold braid. There's some trim from a vintage blouse here, you can hardly see, it's just wee black beads. There's velvet along the top and the bottom, and there's more layers of lace here, and that's a full-sized pocket along, and it's been reinforced, it's quite sturdy. I've used a bit from the old bag to make this part, the top part, not the bottom. Anyway, that's by the by. I made this envelope from lace, fabric and paper, book pages. Velcro's is closed. It's got a lovely blingy fastening top here over the fastening. Some lace to match the lace at the bottom of the book. I think that's really pretty. And then when you open it up, inside I've put a flirtation card, which is what they used in the Victorian days, and it was just a sign if they were interested. I'll let you read it though, but it was a sign if you were interested in someone, then you could pass them this card discreetly. And inside this one, I've put a little red bow to just decorate where it slides in. This is a piece of paper that I've just stitched round, but there's a hidden little pocket here. And it says, "May I have the pleasure of seeing you home this evening? If so, keep this card. If not, please return." And it says, "Confidential card between ourselves." Oh, and that's what they used to pass each other. So that's a hidden one. Because when I made the purse, I was thinking of it being belonging to a young Victorian lady, a young girl. So she's got some suitors, so that's what that's for. And she's got that special one hidden in her purse, tucked away. So for the front page, or the cover of the signature, there's lace, there's some of the polyester satin trim, some red velvet trim or fabric here. I've got a metal Baroque style frame, and I use some triple glaze and a picture to put the picture of the rose in there. And I've just fastened it with a brass coloured brad, although it's all stuck down and stitched on, and a piece of black ribbon. There's some gold ruffled trim, as you can see down here. And then inside there's some gold trim. It's quite sturdy, and I've just made a pocket. So because it's a Victorian and it's Gothic, this pocket's got the Ouija board at the front. There's a little tag here, and it says in silver, "Love, Faith and Hope," silver coloured in the front. Spiritualism was really started as far as America. It was the Fox sisters in America, the USA, in Britain. I think it was Yorkshire that had the first spiritualist meeting. If I'm wrong about that, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking back on the things that I've read. So that's just about telling you a bit of mediumship and advert spiritualism, because she's interested in that as well. That's a picture of the Fox sisters, who were said to have started the spiritualist movement in the USA. Although there's some controversy, because I think the girls recanted, said that it was a hoax. They had started hearing rappings and tappings in a house when they were children in the early 1800s, but that's controversial. So, and I know that there is a museum still for the sisters. But that's about all I know about that. And there's a library card. So I've sewn on some more of the trim here, black lace. This is a Penny Dreadful. Penny Dreadfuls were cheap, fictional, sensationalised, really highly illustrated newspapers that were brought out, or not magazines, but newspapers, editorials, I suppose, that were brought out in the 1830s. They were cheap fiction, and they were really, really popular. So of course this had to be in the book. And then she's got hidden underneath it. I've used some black glittery paper, done a die cut, made a pocket. There's a large tag at the back, and I've left it blank for your own use. And then I've made one with black cards, some gold trim, just a picture there, and it's on coffee dye paper for your own notes. I did have this gold handmade paper in my stash, and I've been looking for a reason to use it, so I thought it went quite nicely here. I'm hoping you can see it in the light. I just punched down the edge, and it's lovely and tactile. This is from Victoria Designs paper. The first charm is a silver coloured heart on some black fabric, coffee dyed paper. Then I've got some digital paper, some red ruffle trim sewn on, black lace, black card. I think that's Victoria Designs as well. I just split that from a sheet and cut it to size because it gives a nice place to write. I made an envelope with some paper from Victoria Designs as well. I wanted a good sized one, full sized. And I just used some washi tape to decorate it, a little red bow again. And this opens out just to give a good half a page. I love this journal, I'm not sure why, it's velcroed closed. I really like this one. Some digital stamping there. I've taken some book music sheet and I've just reinforced down the edge of the paper. And on this side there's a glassine bag. I've tea stained it and then I've stamped like a castle on there. That's from Victoria Designs tag. It's on coffee dyed paper, a black ribbon. And then this one, again, that's Victoria Designs, admit one, a ticket, and I've put it on to make a tag. Again on coffee dyed or tea dyed. Just a picture that I had in my stash and I've made a pocket, and there's another tuck here at the side. And there's another one, another tag. And I stamped this so that it would stamp across 2 pages, so that you've got like a, not a ghost, but you've got a slight, you know, a less prominent or a less visible image here, but I like that effect. And stamped out about it, but I purposely made it quite as though it was faded with time. I don't think you can see, but the paper has, as well as being coffee stained, I sprayed it with Lindy's, so it's got subtle shades of blue, bluey green, teals and golds. And that's just some lace fabric. I've made a pocket. So I've just used some washi tape, card and some lace there to make the pocket. And this was a typical, I found this on Pinterest, this is a typical Victorian morning outfit. Goodness me. So I wanted to include that in there. Another tag that I've just made, this one morbidly says death. It's like a tarot card, on lined paper, all coffee dyed and with a little red ribbon at the top. And then because Dracula's coming up obviously in this book, as a part of the Victorian fiction, some bats. I thought that went nicely there too. And then just an altered paper clip. I just kept them really simple with some black ribbon, digital stamping here of a Victorian aged lamp, gas lamp or whatever, and some more of the music sheet just to strengthen the page, and then another large tag, coffee and tea dye paper at the back, music sheet, and then here Poe, Edgar Allan Poe obviously, around this era, and this is one of my favourites of his, Annabel Lee. And since this book belongs to a young lady as well, I thought love story in the book and romantic, yeah, I had to include it. So I've backed that onto tea and coffee dyed paper. And here's a humorous picture of the times, typical dark Victorian humour. Goodness, it's funny I suppose. But I thought that took my fancy and I've popped that in there. It's just to give a taste of the flavour of the time, that's all. Some more digital paper. This is a Nick the Booksmith envelope. I use them a lot, really like them. Velcro closed. And that's Nick's. Both of those are from Nick the Booksmith. And they're great. Really useful. Favourite envelope. And on here I've done an altered paper clip. I think this must be one of my favourites that I've done so far. I just love all the shades of these. So different fabrics, lace, material, really pretty. Some trim at the top, a bit of bling, and you can put it anywhere in the book and on any page, and it just hides writing. And this is a 1985 Chums paper. Actually, I have the original and I've chopped it up and put it in here. And then Dracula. So of course Dracula was around 1890s, 1897, the novel. Well, I've put it on there, 1897 to remind me. So that's a book cover from that time. And that's another, I like that paper as well. I think that's from Victoria Designs digital kit. I found these pictures on the internet, on Pinterest, and it's a Victorian couple, and I thought they were kind of cute to put in there, an altered paper clip. And I had that from another kit. I just cut it out, fussy cut it out, and I thought the flowers, oops, I just liked the decoration there on the coffee dyed paper. It's digital paper, it's just one I did. Some ledger paper, some vellum. And this one, this is, I don't know if you can see, it's a handmade paper and it's got like a real glimmer or shimmer effect through it, glittery. It's really nice in real life. And that just says spooky. That's another of the tags. I made a pocket down here, an envelope, and in the envelope, that one's empty for your own use. Poison, it says, and caution. Put that back later. Palmistry. Then I made another pocket with a ticket, admit 1, a little red fabric flower, a black bead in the centre. Some of the beaded sequin trim that's in the front of the bag I've put down the bottom here. Harper's Weekly, and it's another, it came out in New York, I think. Excuse me. In the mid 1800s to the early 1900s, and it was I think it was a political magazine, but it covered lots of subjects, so I put that in there because that's topical at the time. And there was lots of these supposedly ghost photographs taken, and I think a lot of them were double exposure because photography was such an early medium at the time. People didn't understand it and they thought it was a spirit world, so I've put that in there because I'm sure she'd have something like that tucked in her purse. And again, around that time area in the Victorian ladies Halloween, I put that in there for Halloween. And an altered paper clip. I've used one of the rosettes, put it on a clip with some red ribbon, and I thought that worked quite well. And that's a sheet of the handmade paper that's got the glitter effect on it, black at the back. You can write on here with silver and gold pens. And again, this is the Victorian, this is the mother pretending that she's a chair or a piece of furniture. They used to cover themselves up and hold their babies as though you didn't know it was somebody sitting with a cover over their head. But anyway, so that's why I've put that in there, all around that area. Some more coffee dyed paper. And then Whitby, the Victorian age. This is a picture from around that time to tie in with Dracula, so that's why this picture's here, because she's got a fascination with the story. And that's Whitby Abbey, 1812. Again, just to tie in with the romantic theme in the Victorian Goth. And this is a Mr. Martin Harvey, who was the last romantic lead in the theatre, English theatre. So I thought she's definitely going to have him tucked away and hidden in her purse. So I'm going to take that out because I'm sure it belongs somewhere else. And I've just made a pocket there with some sparkly trim, made it a book with a rose, cut that picture out. And it's actually, that pocket's in the back of the envelope in the centre of the signature. So that's some fabric trim around, some more of the soft red fabric petals, velcroed on, closed. Then in here, gosh, I've actually got the original of this copy of the, well, I've got the original of this. If I remember, I'll put a picture of it at the end. So I photocopied this one, and it's a life-preserving coffin because they were so worried about being buried alive. So quite dark and old, but I've put it in there because it was quite interesting. And going with the theme of that, this again is a copy. I've got the original, and this was a Victorian in love and memory card. And all I've done is I've photocopied and replicated it. So I'll put a picture at the end of how it looks, of the original one. And this was a lady who passed away in 1899, and she was 46. Yes. I love that picture there. So this one's has got a magnetic clip. There's a tuck here, and I've just put, that's a Genevieve Divine style tag. This one flips down, and I've left it plain so that you can write on it. It's got some washi tape, and here I've done this before in other books. I've put a window for your own picture, and I've put this one in with the black ribbon, just so that you've got a template for size for your own picture. So, but if you want, you can still use her. And as I say, you can take it out and replace it. And then behind it, there's another tuck spot. I've just hidden a journaling card in at the side. It goes underneath, it's a different layer from the picture. And then at the top, this is a Genevieve design flip out, and I've left it plain, and it fits in at the back. And it clicks shut. And then here, I think I'll put the bit one here. This, I got this, this was part of a kit, and I can't remember who, so I'm sorry, but I just cut it out of a longer piece, and I liked it as a tuck, because it's a lady, and she's either a gypsy, or she's sitting with a crystal ball, so I thought that was quite appropriate. And then Edgar Allan Poe, it's a quote, "All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream." Edgar Allan Poe, because she loves Edgar Allan Poe. And black velvet down there, nice space to write, some tracing paper, just a gold flower on the red trim, and then again I've made a teeny envelope here, and there is a wee piece of paper to write on, a little note, then hidden away. I might put a clip on that actually. And then this is just a favourite picture that I had, and I thought, you know, it just made me think of family life there and how, well, if you had money, if you weren't poor. But I just loved the picture, so I've popped it in. A Victorian scene. And again, these are these tags by Genevieve, and I've put 3 of them together to give lots of space to write. And I had some velvet brads that I thought went with the velvet blacks, so that's what's holding them all together, a black velvet brad. And then here we've got another coffee stain, and it's just another journaling card. On the back there's a raven thinking of the Edgar Allan Poe theme. And this is just a little card, and that's actually Nick the Booksmith's. I've put it on some lined paper, and I just think it gives a nice spot to journal on. And then here a tuck. And this is a doctor, this is what a doctor's surgery would look like. And the reason I've included this is because this, not the room, all of it, but this setup is how my first doctor, I'm showing my age, but that's what my doctor had when I was a kiddie going to the doctor. I can remember that's what the doctors did have. It was in somebody's house, and that's the setup. So yeah, that just brought back memories, so that's in there. And another Edgar Allan Poe quote. And I thought we needed a little red gem with the black. And this one says Ave Maria. The music sheet is for Ave Maria. Another large tag, and just another coffee dyed piece to write on. And then this is a wage packet, and I've decoupaged a napkin and done stamping on there. And just a nice journaling card goes inside it. And then at the back, and it's quite thick, but I like that picture, so I'll put that in there. Insects. So some stamping, The Raven, Edgar Allan Poe. And a picture that makes you think of it. Plenty of room to journal. And you can see where I've sprayed better on this one, I think. That's the other side of that Lindy spray. And then another quote, Edgar Allan Poe. You can tell that I like him as well. Digital stamp, vanilla. Flips open. And then another palmistry to write on. And then at the back of this one is the other picture of a raven. Let my heart be still a moment, and its mystery explore. And it's held together with an altered paper clip. And then on this page, not at the back yet, but this page flips up. And I made a pocket with some of the trim top, trim bottom, red velvet trim down here. And I just cut out 3 tags from cardstock, backed them onto coffee dyed paper, and then left them for your own use, and the 3 of them fit in there. And then up here there's a skull and a quote, another tag, and I've just put a fabric flower, stickles and a red gem this time. And then this has got a little fairy on a moon to bring some lightness to the darkness of this one. With some red ruffled trim, digital paper. And I've made it look as though, I don't know if you can see, I've actually done that on purpose because I had doubled, layered it, and I wanted it to look not so perfect, so I pulled some of it off. I wanted it to look as though it was used. And I love this picture, and I cut it so that it looked as though it was taped on the page, just for a tuck. And I was playing around and I made this tag. I've backed it onto the vintage ledger paper that I have. It's a Tim Holtz 2B Girls, and it's on paper. There's book pages, there's fabric, there's a metal clip, timeless, and the ribbon. And skulls again. There's a glassine bag tied with a black velvet ribbon, and inside here there's another Edgar Allan Poe, and there's some journaling cards. And I thought they would give 2 good sized cards, coffee dyed paper. And I've put that on top of the hand-made gold paper. And here there's another piece of writing paper, a raven at the top. And on this one, we've got some lace trim, again stitched on with the red, and another large tag. And then this opens out, and it has got a magnetic clip. I love that sound. Anyway, it's got a magnetic clip. It opens out, and I've put a belly band across with some gold trim, and I've just put a few because she is bulky, but you can put your own paper in there. And there's a pocket at the back, and yet another tag, another journaling card. I think you'll agree there's loads of places to write in this one. And I made this one up, just says contact details to go in near the back of the book. Black card, gold ruffled trim, and then the black pocket. And I've actually padded her as well on top of when I took the clutch bag down to its bare bones. I have put some padding in there, so I'm just checking that you're not seeing anything through, that it's all okay. So this is the back of the book. There's another altered paper clip that you can use in the book. I've just used it because I've made this pocket, but she's quite loose. So it's a layer of lace, a layer of fabric, and I didn't want it bulky because it's going to fold over. There's enough bulk in it. And there's a little booklet. It says Destiny. I've stitched on it with muslin, stitched it on. And you can see, so it's quite nice there, the decoration. And it's got quite a few pages. Coffee, doily, a bag, index card, book. And I've used burgundy thread to sew the signature in place. So that goes there. And to keep it in place, I've just clipped it with the other paper clip. And that's her. So I really thought about keeping this one, but no, I've already got. I would just sit and look at her, and she's really lovely. So I hope she goes to a good home. I hope somebody likes her as much as I do.